Yeah, we're here at Bitcoin 2026 in Las Vegas, Nevada on the first day of the general admission day. Yesterday was industry day. It was a little bit quiet. Today is GA day, meaning the floor is packed, and I'm here with the one, the only co-founder and CEO of Sazmining, Bitcoin mining as a service, Kent. Thank you so much for joining me. I
Love to be
appreciate it.
here, man. Big day for us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Usually, we're talking over the interwebs,
Yes.
and now we're here in person together.
This is not the internet superhighway. It's IRL.
Yes, and you can't replace the IRL. As
No.
much as we'd want to,
No, we can't.
we can't. There's
No.
something about touching and meet space
Yeah.
that the internet can't replicate.
True. True. It cannot. And so I'm glad to be here, man. I think it's been a year since we've done this in person. So.
Absolutely, dude. It's been quite a while. So I love the new merch. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is I'm gonna put this on the Simply Bitcoin set back in Miami. So excited for that.
Cool.
But Kent, talk to me. It's been a massive year for Saz. For anyone who doesn't know, Saz is Bitcoin mining as a service. If you're interested in Bitcoin mining, literally you go to sazmining.com, buy a miner, miner's up and running within 24 to 48 hours, and you'll get wild sats directly sent to your account. You could take those sats into self-custody, and believe it or not, this is actually a cheaper way to buy Bitcoin, which I think a lot of people perhaps don't understand. Kent, do you want to elaborate on that?
Would love to. So it's a big day for us because we just launched a new 3 megawatt site in with room to scale in West Texas. So we've got our second data center in the US, and we've got our other data centers in Norway and Paraguay. So what most people, unfortunately, in the mining ecosystem has really confused people and tried to convince people that you can get both dollars and Bitcoin from Bitcoin mining. And if you are into Bitcoin because you see Bitcoin as your money, this is a Bitcoin acquisition vehicle. I always try to remind other Bitcoiners, hey, Satoshi designed the network to get your Bitcoin through mining, right? He didn't design the network to get your Bitcoin through an exchange, right? This is the proper way that the network was designed. The problem is that it was never made easy enough for the masses to get in there and mine their own Bitcoin. And that's a failure of the mining industry, really. If you look at it, there's this weird part of the history of Bitcoin that not many people talk about, but from 2009 to 2013, that 4-year time frame, most of the Bitcoin that was acquired was through mining. There's no real easy place to buy it. In 2013, though, 2 things came along. The first was the ASIC, so it made it more difficult and challenging to mine. The second was Coinbase Open and Store, so it also made it easy to buy. And those 2 things like split our timeline. And now most of us buy our Bitcoin instead of mine it. But mining is the OG acquisition method that Satoshi designed the network for. And so that's what we've done at Sazmining is we've built like this software layer to make Bitcoin acquisition through mining easy and simple to do. You give us your Bitcoin address, you buy your mining rig, and you pay for your electricity. All of that is at cost, the mining rig and the electricity. And then we take on the back end for finding a data center, getting everything arranged. We don't make any money on the hardware electricity. We just take a 15% management fee on the back end, not from your Bitcoin directly, but when it's paid out from the mining pool. And so that's how we fund our business. So if Nico, if I can't make you Bitcoin, then I don't get paid.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that I love about you guys, Kent, is the aligned incentives, right?
Yep.
Where, and again, this is, I would say, very unique to the industry.
Yep.
Where some other alternatives, essentially, they make money regardless of whether the machines are up or down.
Yep.
You guys specifically only make money whether the machines are up.
Yep.
So again, what does that incentivize you to do? It incentivizes you to keep those puppies up and running as long as they can, because that's how you guys make money.
Yeah, and really crazy, but because we have this alignment of incentives, we actually went a step further and said, look, I need to predict my own revenue, so I might as well actually put a guarantee for our customers on the rig performance side. So you hear a lot of people talk about like uptime in our industry. It's like, oh, okay, uptime, like we gotta have good uptime, good uptime. Uptime just means there's electricity in your mining rig. It doesn't mean that it's actually operating. It doesn't mean that it's actually like hashing at full capacity. And we said, look, because if we're not producing Bitcoin for you, we're not getting paid. Why not just build our operations around making sure that we deliver? So we offer like a 95% rig guarantee. That means that if you bought a petahash worth of mining equipment from us, you would get 95% of that over the course of the year. 95% of that petahash worth of computational power would have been delivered to the mining pool on your behalf. And so we actually have that in place, and it's because of the alignment of incentives. If we didn't have this alignment of incentives, we wouldn't have delivered that. But that's a very different thing than coming to customers and saying, hey, we'll give you good uptime. It's like, well, do you really care if your mining rig has got power to it? No, you care about the computational power because that's how you earn Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like that, I think it's so important to alignment of incentives is so important. One of the things that I appreciate about Bitcoin itself, Kent, is the alignment of incentives in terms of, you know, Michael Saylor and to a degree, Larry Fink, them talking up their bags, they're going to benefit from the price appreciation just as much as the person who's holding 0.01. And I think that's in stark contrast, 0.01 Bitcoin. I think that's in stark contrast to how the traditional financial system works or how fiat currency works, where it's really, there's a small group of winners and the rest of the people lose. And I think that distorts so many things, right? So going back to your point, I love the fact that you've built your business, built a successful business around a win-win type of situation where it creates, again, a good experience for your clients, and it creates obviously, you know, profit for you as a company. And I think that's so important because again, if you have misaligned incentives, I think it's American Hodl who originally said this, is like, no one's better than their incentives. Like, you know, and if your incentive is A, right, like you're gonna work towards A, and if your incentives is B, you're gonna work towards B. And again, if it's misaligned, you kind of find yourself in a situation where, you know, specifically you're part of the industry can't, you know, had a bad reputation for a long time, right? So it's like, I remember when we first started working together, I was like, Kent, like, you know, we kind of have to re-educate the masses on a lot of things because a lot of people got their fingers burnt on the stove, but they got their fingers burnt on the stove because that specific company would make money regardless, right?
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. In fact, I'm proud of the fact that it's been I almost a year now that I've not been called a scam. That was the most common refrain that I was getting from the public when I first got started. And I did not know there was so much reputational damage. And it was exactly what you're talking about from a misalignment of incentives. Because if you make money selling hardware, that's where your margin is. You have no incentive to plug the hardware in. If you make money selling electricity, well, great. And now you'll make the equipment run, but it doesn't mean you're going to make the equipment run well, right?
Yeah.
But if you only make your Bitcoin on the, or your money on the Bitcoin output, that means that you are now going to optimize for the Bitcoin output, which is what the customer also wants. So now we're totally aligned. And it's a fascinating thing. You know, Satoshi actually, I think we often don't talk about the fact that mining is the other side of the coin for the invention of Bitcoin, right? The head side of the coin is the decentralized ledger that we know and love, right? That's a 0-to-1 innovation. It unlocks so much. But the other side of the coin is also a 0-to-1 innovation, and it's not cypherpunk. I call it hashpunk, because if you have hardware, electricity, and internet connection, guess what? You can print your own Bitcoin. Decentralized money printing. Like, that is unbelievably mind-blowing. And the fact that anybody can do it means that they can also acquire those sats outside of the banking surveillance system. And that offers a lot of value. It's actually surprisingly one of the prime drivers that that move our customers to participate with this opportunity is, you know, they just want to know that they've got their sats stacked outside of the traditional rails so that they truly are outside the system because they worry about what's going on. And I think rightly so. If you look at what's going on in our society right now, it's a pretty chaotic environment. You know, I don't think anybody really can call with any accuracy what's going to happen in the next few years. But there is one thing you could absolutely say: Bitcoin will still be producing a block every 10 minutes.
Absolutely, man. And I think that in and of itself, like I think people underestimate how much of a role money plays in society. And if that base layer, that foundational layer is fundamentally broken and corrupted, I think the downstream effects of that, I think people underestimate how much it you know, it affects humanity as a whole, right? So you have Bitcoin here, and Bitcoin fixes this. And part of you know, and what secures Bitcoin, like what ultimately secures the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin network, the miners, right? And the miners aren't mining out of the goodness of their heart. The miners are mining out of the pursuit of profit, right? Which again is alignment of incentives. And the people that are running nodes, like, okay, some of them might run it for ideological reasons, but I would say a lot of people that are running nodes, they're like, I want to run a node because I don't trust someone else, you know, someone else's copy of the Bitcoin blockchain. I want to trust my own copy of the Bitcoin blockchain on my own node, right? So again, alignment of incentives, and I think we live in a world with misaligned incentives, and I think a lot of that boils down to fiat.
Agreed. I think, you know, I'm a child of the 90s, right? Grew up, well, I'm born in the 80s, but like really coming of age during the 90s. And I keep reflecting back, like the quality of life. And there's a theme, you can see it talked about online of like how good the 90s were. And a lot of people are feeling this like dislocation for how society is right now. And like, what happened? What's going on? I think you and I both know it's fiat. Like at the end of the day, like the fiat rot, the fact that our money is based on credit, which means that every dollar that's brought into existence, it needs a dollar plus to pay it back. So that just leads everybody to need to chase more and more dollars. And it just leads to this constant rat wheel that we're all on, you know? And I mean, it's one of my favorite singers has a phrase that I really like, but only a rat wins the rat race, you know? And so it's not fun. Like the only way to actually win the game is to step out and play a different game. And that's what we're trying to do with Bitcoin is like, and I think, you know, Jeff Booth has this talk that he gives a lot about deflation and how that impacts us. And I know you and I were talking about that just the other day, and we're both talking about how hard it is to get your head wrapped around it. But like once you do, you're sort of on the other side of the looking glass, right? And you just realize like, okay, I could be paid more fiat dollars to go work in another area of the economy. However, I don't think I could live with myself to do that, because I want to live in the reality that's being created from Bitcoin. Absolutely. And so for us, like working in Bitcoin to create that other reality, that is why we're here.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you. So Kent, for anybody that perhaps is not familiar with Saz, what is the process? So you go to sazmining.com. What do they need to go from A to Z? And how complex is it? Like you talk to people about Bitcoin mining, they're like, wow, like that's complicated. What you guys specifically figured out as how to make it uncomplicated. And basically it's like the Uber of Bitcoin mining.
That's right. So we have intentionally made it easy. 3 clicks, you're done. You're out the door with the money. Actually 3 pages, excuse me, might be a couple more clicks than that. But you go onto our homepage, click shop mining rigs. We've got 2 to 3 mining rigs models right now. They're in Paraguay, and we just launched the Texas data center today. So you can go buy hardware there, and that's especially good if you want the bonus depreciation, which really we missed out on offering to our customers last year. But interestingly, Bitcoiners also like the subsidies. So we're happy to offer that and have people take advantage of that. But you buy a mining rig there, and pay for it however you want. We've got everything from Apple Pay to Bitcoin to Lightning to USDT. Shockingly, there's a lot of Lightning transactions that are done to buy their hardware, which is actually cool to see because these are bigger transactions. You buy your hardware, we have it up and going for you in a couple of days. You just give us your Bitcoin address and how you want to pay, and we'll send you a monthly bill and you pay it. If you give us a credit card, it'll happen automatically, but otherwise you pay your electricity bill, the Bitcoin flows to your wallet. It's your Bitcoin. We never touch it. We never touch private keys in any way, shape, or form. We only take a clipping from it, 15% on the back end. So it's as easy as that. But the fun part is to see how often our clients are logging in to monitor. They go see, hey, how many sats are at the pool today? How many sats are at the pool today? When's my payout going to happen? It's pretty fun to see like how engaged people are. And we do have a VIP community that anybody that is a customer can join, and we give a monthly town hall where people can access and talk to me directly and give updates as to what we're building on the tech side, because we are a tech company first. We strap data centers onto our tech stack afterwards. But yeah, I'm accessible to all of our customers in that town hall and give feedback as to where we're going, how we're performing at each of the data centers, and just try to keep it as real and transparent as possible.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I love too is how much you guys focus on support, right?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people have many questions, right? Machine goes down for whatever reason, you know, you want to be able to feel like you can contact that company. So could you talk a little bit about how much you guys focus on support, how much you guys have really nailed that down?
Yeah. So the same guy, and we have 3 guys that onboard clients. They also are the same ones that provide support. So you're assigned a specific like account representative. We call them Bitcoin strategy advisors to help strategize with you. Hey, is it the right time for me to cycle my fleet? Should I be adding more hardware here? So they're really like kind of your individual coach, right? And you can go to them directly for questions. We have a support ticketing system, and we're proud of the fact that on average, we resolve all of our tickets in under 12 hours, right? So we're not like maybe live on the chat, but within 4 hours, you're going to get a response, and within 12 hours, we're resolving most client issues. And we're actually specifically focused on driving down our support tickets. So despite like we're onboarding more and more customers, we're seeing what all the tickets are saying and say, okay, that's what we need to build next. Because what we've realized is no tickets is good news for us.
Amazing. Amazing. Guys, go to sazmining.com. Again, Bitcoin mining as a service. It's the co-founder and CEO, Kent. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it on Simply Bitcoin Live. Kent, thank you so much for joining me, man. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Nico.